Hey guys, Anthony with Awesome Historical Weapon Skills here. Today we're talking about the Pro Gauntlets. We've been lucky enough that Purpleheart Armory lent us a pre-production prototype pair, early access pair, to kind of review and talk about and play with. So I've had these for almost 2 weeks now. Initial thoughts are, everyone says mobility is amazing, it's absolutely phenomenal. Obviously, longsword, you can easily switch your grips. You have all sorts of finger dexterity, mobility. Half swording is now easier. Grabbing people, grabbing their weapons is now easier. So all those good things are absolutely true. I'm going to start off more pessimistic than most and saying there's definitely some concerns and vantage points and trouble points that I have with them that I'm not sure if it's being fixed in the later production, but just worry points. And in summation, these are great gloves if you've been doing HEMA and sparring for a year or two. If you're no longer getting hit in the hands a quarter of the time, half the time, they're definitely worth the investment. You get a lot of extra mobility. But if you're new and you're getting hit in the hands all the time, these are not the gloves you're going to want to keep yourself safe while you live. So one of the biggest things people are so excited about these gloves is that mobility, right? I can sit here in my normal grip and I can switch, I can move, I can grab, I can, right? All those other things that everyone wants to see from gloves, you can do. As far as weight, as far as mobility goes, they're obviously not as loose or free-fitting as obviously no gloves or lacrosse gloves, but there's no resistance. Mobility is super nice, super easy. I don't know how broken in these are, but there's not a whole lot of issue I have with feeling like my hand should be able to move and it's not getting there. So that is something I can say without reservation. Mobility is phenomenal, especially given the exertion. The only thing better is that a cross glove or your bare hand, and for obvious reasons, I don't recommend that. So as you can see, obviously individual fingers, individual joints, lots of mobility things. You can see little tiny ties kind of tying and holding everything together. And despite one of my initial concerns with these ties, they seem to be resilient and durable, and I haven't had any problems with anything slipping or breaking or popping in the time that I've used them. You do have this nice little fabric piece coming over, a nice big knuckle guard, and things of that nature. So as I said, construction, mobility, all feels really great. The trouble points, the things that I was really concerned about and expressed earlier, are any kind of strikes to this inside ridge of the hand, this forehand ridge, this backhand ridge. Places like that, for me, this plastic is sitting directly on my knuckles. Right here, there's just 3 layers of plastic sitting, again, directly on my knuckles. So any strikes to this area just feel super dangerous, super uncertain. Obviously, we've stood there and hit each other with swords while holding them. And when you get to about 40 or 50% intensity, you definitely feel it. You definitely know there's a strike there. Will your hand break from getting hit like that? I don't know. I'm not going to be able to find out. It just makes me super cautious. With that said, when I get in the hands, I've been doing HEMA 7 years now. I don't get in the hands up here anymore. I don't get in the bottom of my hands. When I get hit, it comes across all the fingers, solidly across the back, and all those places are super strong, super padded, super secure. So I don't have any personal concerns about wearing these. But again, telling someone new who's dropping their own money on their weapons, not something I can, in good conscience, tell a new student to go out and buy. So obviously everyone's excited about the Pro Gauntlets for longsword. Everyone's talking about the hand mobility and utility for that. In addition to that, though, obviously if it works for longsword, it's going to work for a sword in one hand. You can do messer. If you have steel duzak or a basket hilt that they fit into, you can do that. Rapier, mine rapiers don't fit the gloves very nicely, very well, so I can't vouch for that. But again, if you're getting cut in the hands doing rapier, someone's doing something really wrong. For me, though, the really exciting thing is the option to move into quarterstaff work. Obviously, with quarterstaff, you need a hand mobility. You need to be able to switch your hands, move things around, make those transitions. If you look at Meyer, getting that brace position to keep your hands safe and protected, you can't do this with a Spez Heavy. You struggle to do this, honestly, with the Koenigs to get that mobility and loosens here, being able to get that full hand mobility. So here, the Pro Gauntlets really start to shine. And obviously, I wouldn't recommend doing quarterstaff sparring at any kind of high intensity. But you can do a lot of drilling and take a lot of impacts on those hands and really work those drills, staying at 60, 70% intensity safely. And it's going to work from here. So if you start off sort of bind, you do something wrong, the strike comes in, right down the fingers, and yes, I notice it, nothing bad. From the other side, same thing, just straight down on that. And again, not a big deal at all. So I think unexpected bonus piece for these is being able to get into quarterstaff a little bit more, getting to do some more intense training, drilling with the quarterstaff, something that I've never wanted to do or trust people to work on because you mess up wearing something small like lacrosse gloves and you're going to mangle some fingers. And these feel super safe for that. All right. One last thing I want to get into with these and just express warning concern. Again, I don't know if it's been revised in the revisions from here, but with these cuffs, they're short enough that the wrong sort of movement or the right sort of angles leaves a little bit of exposure here. And I don't know, again, if that's been revised or you can clamp these down better, or again, maybe these are too small, too big for me for the sizing, because again, these are just pre-production prototype, pass out and check out type models, but there's definitely some risk of exposure through this. As you start making these winding motions there, you see a little bit of skin, a little bit of exposure from that. So again, something to be mindful of, be aware of. It's definitely something that can be fixed with some gear choices and gear changes. Maybe you just need a little better arm down here. Maybe get something that goes over the whole cuff. There's definitely some options and easy ways to fix that, but it's definitely a case-by-case gear scenario. I'm just bringing awareness to that. So in conclusion, I'm a fan of the ProGauntlets, but again, definitely be aware of your use case, your scenarios, what you're looking for it. It is definitely not the be-all, end-all in hand protection, and to be fair, nothing is, but it does give us a lot of mobility. And as I said, once you get past that entry-level stage, your hands are getting hit all the time, I would feel personally very comfortable using them, very comfortable wearing them. But again, like not until you've had a few years of HEMA and are safe and comfortable with your hands, and honestly where that mobility becomes useful.